Hello everyone, this is Sumerian, and this is episode 6 of our build series that we are currently working on. In the last episode, we put together some logic so that we can use that dynamic trigger to capture triggering actor information so that we can then control the townspeople who are within our dynamic trigger up above by pushing up and down. Well, we haven't put in the up and down part, but we have all the logic set to go for it. So in this episode, we're going to modify the control system we have started here, and we're going to actually modify it quite a bit, make it work a lot better, and we'll explain as we're going, of course. So we're really going to do a very similar thing to what we've already done, where we're going to add trigger area above and below the checkpoint, and we're going to put the feedback in exactly the same, but we're going to modify how the control works over here a bit, and we're going to tighten this up. So let's start with some trigger areas. And like I said, we're going to put a trigger area above, but this time we're going to, with the knowledge that we're tightening this up, that actually looks pretty darn good. I'm gonna, don't mind if it's a little up. Okay. I'll put these ones in first and do the programming, and then we will tighten it up. So, like before, we are going to put two weather vanes down. One's going to be pushing down, and one's going to be pushing up. We'll set them both to, I think it was a strength of 15, and set them to triggering actor. And this, of course, gives us our feedback to push us back out of that trigger area whenever you let go of the controller. Did I set that one to 15? I did. Excellent. And we'll do the same thing. The bottom trigger area, entered by any player, is going to turn on the opposite direction weather vane, and exiting it with any player will turn it off. And we'll do the same thing with the top. Entered player any, turned on, and exited player any will turn it off. Perfect. Now the way these controls are going to work is we're going to say for the up pushing, that will be when we push up. So if you remember our last episode, entered player any. If I open this bottom logic gate, it turns on the weather vane, and if I close it, it turns it off. So when the player enters, I want to open it, and when the player exits, I want to close it. Which will turn that weather vane back off. And we'll do the exact same thing. Entered player any. We're going to open it and exit player any. We are going to close it. Alright, so our controls should be working good now, but now what we want to do is we want to really tighten them up. And we're going to do that. Touch that one there. Now we definitely want them to overlap so far, because I find overlapping allows you to do two things at the same time. They could, especially when, like right now we're doing something a little weird, where left and right is controlling the camera, up and down is controlling a townsperson. We're going to overlap them for now, see if that works. If it doesn't, if it feels weird, we will adjust. But for now, I'm going to try it overlapping. So you can do both at the same time by going like down and left kind of thing. Now, the reason we're adjusting these controls a bit is I only want to give you a very limited space to enter that trigger area. Because the farther into the trigger area you can manage to wander, the longer it takes the weather vane to push you back out, which means the longer it takes to stop whatever action is being triggered by you being in that trigger area, which means that A, it's slower to go a different direction, and B, it's slower to stop. So I want to give you as little room as possible just to give you the maximum control. So we are quite literally going to keep it as small as we can. So here I give you half a block, and half a block. Starting to look pretty cramped in there, but I think this will really help us along. There we go. We have, you can even see where they cross over each other there. And we have very limited area we can go before you're pushed back. So that should work perfectly. Okay, well, let us remove these squares. And I think we're almost ready for testing. And now there's something that was brought up to me that I've been doing that I don't do in real life, really, when I'm building. And what that is that I haven't been saving pretest, because really it's the standard we all use is sometimes things will go weird when you're testing. So what you always want to do when you're building a toy box, especially when you start getting to more advanced logic, is you want to save, then you test, and then you reload before you do anything. You reload that level. You do not try to modify the level that you just tested in and then save it later. You want to start fresh every time. And I haven't been doing that in this tutorial, and that's bad of me, but let's just do a really quick save then. Alright, so we just saved, and now I can feel free to push that button. But first I want to start some enemies spawning, so we can actually get some enemies spawning with that button. And now I'm going to push this button and give us control over our camera system here. And here we have someone coming. And let's see. Look at that. I'm pushing up and he's moving up. I'm pushing down and he's moving up. And I'm moving along with him. Pushing down. And when he leaves, I'm pushing. Oh. And there's Kermit. And I think my circle's actually a little big because I noticed when he left, I still had control over him for a bit. Yeah, my circle's a little big. But that's easy enough to fix. I lost control over him, and I gained control pretty fast. Okay, so the circle's a little big, but we do see that we are moving the townsperson pretty good. I actually want to speed that up. So the weather vane that we set to 4, the two of them, I'm actually going to set them a little higher. I might put them to 6, which is what the speed coming across is. And this is actually working really well. Now what I'm going to do is wait till he's at the edge. And I'm going to hit down, hold down. And oh, I forgot to. Oh, and once he got out of the range, he stopped moving up. Perfect. And move him down, move him down, move him down. Oh, he didn't stop moving down. So we'll have to see why that happened. But this is generally working fairly well so far. I'm very happy with it. Excellent. So I'm going to come out, and now we're going to see that we're in this small little area here. And we could see that now I can't get very far. So when I let go, I'm going to shoot back to that center pretty quick because I can't actually get too far. If I could make this any smaller, I probably would make it smaller just to keep my controls as tight as possible. But this is about the tightest you can make it so that when you let go, he's never going to be far enough away that it takes long to get back in here, which will stop the action you're at and get you ready so that you can go to a different action. So, perfect. That worked very well. So, now we have that working. So now I'm going to, and I'm doing exactly what I just told you, definitely do not do. I'm adjusting something after a test. But that's okay. I could fix it if it breaks. I'm okay with that. So I'm changing these to 6. I changed the dynamic trigger area smaller. Excellent. And I'm beginning to see right now that we actually, at 6 seconds, we're actually too close to each other. So that's another thing that we just found out by testing, is 6 seconds is too close. So we're going to probably change that to 8 seconds and then adjust all the other times as well of the logic we created before. So I'm thinking we will change this one to 8 seconds. We'll go this one to 11 seconds. This one to 14 seconds. And this one to 17 seconds. There we go. Now I'll push this button just again. See if they're spawning a little further apart. They're spawning a little further apart, and that's good. Is it far enough apart? And it's probably still not far enough apart. I may actually change it to 10 seconds. So let's change that to 10 seconds and adjust everything else accordingly. 10 seconds. 15 seconds, 16 seconds, and 19 seconds. And a lot of the time when you're building this is what you're doing, is you're testing and you're testing to see if it's going to work the way you want. No, it's not going to work that way. Try it a different way until you get it to work as close as possible to what you were thinking you wanted to occur. So now I'm thinking at 10 seconds we're going to be golden. There you go. At 10 seconds, they're far enough apart that they're never going to be in the circle at the same time. Okay, now this I'm happy with. Beautiful. Now, you see how they're doing some strange things, jumping off the side and everything? It's probably because it's exactly what I said not to do, is I'm testing and testing and testing without having done the reload and the saving at the proper time. So once we test again, we're going to find it's actually going to work a lot better than it currently is right this second, just because I went against my own advice and I did this wrong. So we have adjusted the control system for our up and down. We also adjusted it for our left and right, made a much better, tighter, and better looking control system here. So left and right is moving our camera, up and down is pushing or pulling the townsperson that's within our circle towards or away from us. So now we're going to, in the next episode, we're probably going to do a little bit of decorating, but we're also going to start working on this terrain up here. Remember how I said this is just an idea for us of how it's all going to play out? This is not going to be the end result, because the terrain we're going to want obstacles and holes and things like that. Stuff you actually have to work the townsperson around, or else it's not much of a game if they're just walking a straight line across. So that's going to be our goal coming up in the next episode. We're going to actually do some decorating and work on the obstacles and things like that. And then after that, we'll start actually tying a lot of the gameplay together. So again, this has been Sumerian, and this has been build episode number 6, I believe. And I hope there's been some information here that's been helpful to you, and I also hope you all have a wonderful day.